Welcome back everyone, Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Am I the asshole for rehoming our cat? I, 37 female, recently adopted a new kitten, Rex. He's absolutely adorable and my family loves him. We have an older cat, Belle, who was my husband's before we got married. Unfortunately, Belle doesn't get along with Rex. At first, it just seemed like jealousy, but she began full-on attacking Rex for no reason. I knew it was an unhealthy environment for them both, so I had to make the hard decision to have Belle rehomed. My husband was unfortunately livid at me. He doesn't believe that I should have rehomed her without asking the rest of the family. However, I know they would have opted to keep both of them despite it not being a good environment for either of them, so I had to make the choice for them. He thinks that we should have rehomed Rex instead since Belle was here first, but Belle is getting up there in age and I don't want the kids, 5 and 7, to have to experience the loss of a pet this young, so it makes more sense to keep the younger one. Now my husband won't talk to me and got the kids to do the same. Was I the asshole? Are you for real? Like, you rehomed your husband's cat without asking him. Are you fucking for real? How long did you give your cats, like, before they were adjusted? Like, did you just give it one day and then call it good once they just couldn't get along? Like, it takes cats some time before they're able to fully get along with each other. And you didn't even ask anyone, you just fucking took the older cat and got rid of him. Dude, what the hell? Please let this be rage bait because holy fucking shit, this is insane. And if I were to maybe roll the dice here and tinfoil hat this, it's not about the kids and you wanting to prevent them from having a loss, which, by the way, is a normal thing for kids to experience. I think you probably just didn't like your husband's cat and was looking for any goddamn reason to get rid of them. Also, if, like, the kitten wasn't getting along with the adult cat, you should have rehomed the kitten. Like, that's pretty normal. A lot of people are gonna want to adopt a kitten. It's gonna find a great home. But putting a fucking elderly cat in an animal shelter? Are you for real? That poor thing's probably gonna die alone, you fucking monster. Am I the asshole for convincing my girlfriend to abandon her child so we can be together? This got removed on Am I the Asshole, so let me try again here. I, 32 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 28 female, for a little over 2 years. When we first met, she was a single mom to a 7-year-old boy from a previous relationship. She never planned on being a mother and had him due to unfortunate circumstances. She's always been upfront that she felt trapped by motherhood and didn't have much of a bond with her son. As we got more serious, she started expressing how much she wanted a fresh start, a life where she wasn't held back by her past. She felt guilty about it, but admitted that raising her son alone had taken a huge toll on her, mentally and financially. I told her that if she truly felt that way, she should consider other options, including giving full custody to her ex, who has always wanted more involvement, or even a close relative like her mother, who has had her son for the majority of the time anyway due to her job. He had been asking for it for a while, and she just didn't seem ready to be a mom. She told me she didn't feel like she was cut out for it, and after hearing how much stress it was causing her, I thought giving him a stable home with his dad would be the best for everyone. After a lot of discussion and hesitation, which lasted months, she had finally made the decision to give full custody to her ex, move to a new city with me. Her company had opened up a new branch there, so she had to move anyway, and start over. She says she feels relieved, like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. But now everyone in her life is calling her a terrible person, saying I manipulated her into abandoning her child, even though I never forced her. They see me as the villain for convincing her. Now, a few weeks later, her son called her. He was crying. He said he missed her and didn't understand why she wasn't there anymore. Hearing that completely crushed her. She's been really upset. And honestly, I'm torn up too. I thought I was helping, but now I'm questioning everything. I feel like I made the wrong decision, like I pushed her into something that's hurting both of them. Yeah, no shit, dude. You talked a mother that was probably dealing with a lot of stress into straight up abandoning her kid. Like, you 100% are the villain here, dude. What's worse is that in the comments, OP admits that the father was a recovering addict and had pretty much only recently gotten clean. So, like, this just leaves me with an indescribable pit in my stomach, and I don't even know how to begin to even, like, approach explaining how just sad this makes me feel. Like, it really comes off that OP just convinced her that she really wanted this, and, like, yeah, she was stressed and strained about being a single mother and, a not great financial situation, but, like, dude, that's just an incredibly fucked up thing to do. Like, I have way too many emotions of anger and sadness to even begin to attempt to unpack them here, because I don't even really know what I actually feel. It's just so unbelievable. Like, the situation is just fucked. It's just awful. My 43 male daughter, 21 female, won't speak to me. I want her back in my life. This is my first time posting on Reddit. I know I will be met with harsh judgment, but I need advice on how to rebuild a relationship with my only daughter. I want to start off by saying that I know I was the one who ruined our relationship, but it's been 3 years already. I just don't see why she can't come around. I miss her terribly, and she's my one and only girl, my only child. I should explain. I, 43 male, married my current wife, 21 female, 3 years ago. It had caused quite some backlash among my friends, my community, some of my family members, my ex, and of course, my daughter. But I had to marry my wife. She's the only one for me. She's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's a kind and caring woman. I knew my daughter would have some problems with my marriage, but I never expected how harsh she could have been. She begged me to end this marriage. She pleaded with my wife to leave me. I had to admit I'm not proud of myself, but I told her that I wished she was never born, that I resented her, and that she meant nothing to me. I already had a rocky relationship with my daughter. She never approved of my relationship with my wife, but we would at least have a talking relationship. Since that day, she hasn't spoken to me since. If I'm being honest, I miss her, and I decided to see on social media how she was doing. She's engaged. I'm her father, and I found out about my own daughter's engagement through social media. That was when I knew I had made a serious mistake. I don't want to miss out on any more of her milestones in life. I contacted her through social media, but she had blocked me. I want to reach out again. I want her back in my life, but I need advice. Edit. I will be editing this post to answer some questions and paint a clearer picture. For one, I did not meet my wife when she was a minor. That would have been extremely disgusting, and I would have seen her differently if I had. Everything about our relationship had been legal, and there was clear consent. I met her when she was 18, we dated for a total of 8 months before we had gotten married. She had always been more reserved and shy, so we agreed on elopement. I'm not planning to have any more children in the near future. As for the relationship between my wife and my daughter, they weren't enemies, they were simply friends. She had started coming over and a relationship between us naturally developed. She was skeptical at the very beginning, but I truly love her, and I know she feels the same. I must say my wife is an adult woman. She's not some baby. The way that a lot of you consider her to be a child is frankly disturbing and hurtful towards her. She can make her own decisions and she chooses to be with me. Why else has she stayed by my side for 3 years? So, let me get this straight. You married one of your daughter's friends, and when she told you she was uncomfortable with the marriage, you responded by stating that you wish she was never born, and she decided to cut you out of her life as she had every right to do so. Now you're upset that she's done so and wish to get back into her life. You reached out and she blocked you. I mean, there's really nothing more you can do. You made your choice. You chose her instead of your daughter. So right as I was going to wrap this post up, I actually found out that there's an update to this. Update. I, 43 male, met my daughter, 21 female, again after 3 years of no contact. It went badly. I expected a lot of backlash when I had posted my first post regarding my issues with my daughter, but I hadn't expected the death threats and the accusations that I'm a pedophile. I met my wife when she was 18 and an adult. That is that. And just know, I am unbothered by the death threats. It just shows how immature some people can be. Now, I did end up meeting with my daughter, and I suppose I'm just posting this to get this all off my chest. I received a message from my daughter. She had unblocked me and sent me a brief message. She wanted to meet up, and I was feeling hopeful. I thought maybe she realized that she needs her father in her life. though she followed up by saying that my parents had pressured her into at least trying to speak with me. That hurt a bit. I thought she wanted to meet up and reconcile on her own volition, but even if it was just pressure from my parents, I was still happy. This was my chance to make things right. On the day when we were supposed to meet up, I made a huge mistake. I lost track of time. I was busy with my wife. She was just too cute to ignore, and well, one thing led to another, and by the time I remembered, it was already 30 minutes after we were due to meet at the local park. I can't forget the look my daughter gave me. She almost seemed as though she didn't care and even expected this. I tried to explain myself the best way I could. I kept it vague and said I lost track of time, but she wasn't having any of it. I tried so hard to get through to her and explain that I was sorry, but she just coldly told me to make my parents leave her alone. She told me that I wasn't her father anymore, that she'd never forgive me for everything I did. She told me that if I or my parents even bother her again, she would stop talking to my side of the family completely. I had to admit I was getting a little angry as my parents had done nothing wrong, but I held my tongue. To add salt to the wound, she told me I wasn't invited to her wedding and her maternal uncle would be walking her down the aisle instead. I felt broken. I wanted to make things work. I had to make things right. I kept trying to get through to her, but her fiance showed up and they left, just like that. I couldn't even get another word in. She didn't even introduce me to the boy. I just feel like it's all over. My parents have been blowing up my phone, blaming me for screwing up and embarrassing them, but at least I still have my wife by my side. I feel so fucking alone, but with her, my life doesn't seem like a complete shithole. She's all I need. I hope this is some kind of rage bait because the fact that you had an opportunity to possibly make things up with your daughter but lost track of time because you were too busy with the wife that's honestly the root of a lot of these problems, and now you're complaining that you feel alone? Like, I can't even begin to make fun of you because it's just so sad. Like, you lost track of time when you were supposed to meet your daughter because your wife was looking too cute and you just couldn't resist. Sounds like your daughter's just better off without you. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance that he embarrassed me when he started singing the happy birthday song to his 5-year-old son at the restaurant? I, female 30, have been with my fiance, Ned, male 36, for a year and a half. He has a 5-year-old son with his ex-girlfriend. They don't have a custody arrangement, but he has him most of the week because the mom is currently sick. His son is lovely, but I noticed that Ned takes him everywhere he goes, including places that aren't child-friendly, and we have an issue with that now, but we're working on it. His son's 5th birthday was days ago. Ned took us out to a restaurant to celebrate. The place was nice and looked a bit unfitting for the occasion because it was a somewhat expensive place. Anyways, we ordered food and then got the birthday cake, which was a surprise to me because I thought we were going to celebrate at home, so we could be free to sing and play however we wanted. I still had no issue with that till Ned started singing the happy birthday song to his son. I was stunned. I almost dropped my plate. He was singing it at the top of his lungs, not even looking around or paying attention to how many people were staring at us awkwardly. I felt so embarrassed. I kept whispering for him to stop, but he ignored me. Of course, my future stepson was hyped and a little too active, which isn't good when we're at a public place. I expected the staff, the manager, or anyone to get involved and stop him, but no one did. In fact, some women came up to us and offered that she help him take a video recording. I wasn't in it at all. I froze in my seat looking stunned and a little angry. I wonder why you weren't in the video. He looked at me later asking what was wrong. I didn't say anything except, "Thank you for finally noticing." He didn't understand what I meant and I didn't explain till we were in the car. I flat out told him that he embarrassed me the second he started singing in the restaurant. He looked shocked, saying he didn't get why I would be embarrassed by him celebrating his son's birthday and cheering him up. I told him we could have done this at home when we'd be more comfortable and free. He took it as in I was ashamed of him and his son, but I denied it and said that it just felt awkward and embarrassing to me because I've never been in this situation, and also judging from the restaurant we were at. He said that his son's mom is sick and he's trying to do all he can to cheer him up, and that all families do that, and no one had an issue with that except me. Then, when I tried to explain, he got mad and said he no longer felt like talking. We haven't been speaking since then. It appears he's still salty about me saying what I said and insisting that I see him and his son as an embarrassment. Am I the asshole? I think he's being too harsh with the whole ignoring me thing instead of talking it out. Like, yeah, some people probably weren't too happy with there being a happy birthday from all of us to you being sung in the middle of a restaurant, but at the same time, if the manager or employees didn't step in and people were offering to film, I don't think the amount of eyes that were being judgmental were as many as you think. And not to mention, at the end of the day, you won't encounter any of those people ever again. Their opinion of you doesn't really matter. Who the fuck cares if they see you celebrating a 5-year-old birthday? I mean, aside from singing happy birthday, it doesn't sound like the 5-year-old was being disruptive. It doesn't sound like you guys were ruining the general ecosystem of the restaurant. Like, don't get me wrong, I also understand, like, yeah, I'm not a fan of having happy birthday sung to me. It's embarrassing towards me, but when someone else is getting happy birthday sung to them, I don't feel like angry or upset with them. It's just kind of like oh, it's their birthday. All right, well, let me just wait 30 seconds before continuing the conversation while they have happy birthday sung to them. And then when it's done, I continue on like an adult. I'm not judging everyone at the table like, how fucking dare you have your birthday? What the fuck? That's not a normal reaction from most people. And again, considering you had people coming up to you guys offering to film, and on top of that, you not being included in the video, it really makes you think. Also, it's just kind of a goofy comment for them to be like, and he takes his son everywhere he goes. Like, what is he supposed to do? Just leave him at home in like a hamster cage with one of those little licky bottles of water? Is that what you want him to do? On his birthday of all days? Like, come on. Like, there are so many red flags packed within this post, I can't even begin to sit down and tear them all apart without this audio alone being like 20 minutes long. So I'm just gonna leave it to you guys in the comment section to tear them apart. But my biggest, I guess not really advice, but more of just kind of word of wisdom, don't worry about like embarrassing yourself in public, especially when it's to make someone else happy. Because you will never see those people again in your life, but you will continually see the person that you made their day 10 times better, and they will remember that. And of course, they'll also remember you taking a high and mighty I'm too good for this activity approach and saying that you embarrassed them by singing to your 5-year-old. It's very me in this post. You embarrassed me. Thank you for finally noticing that I was upset and embarrassed, and I denied that I was ashamed of him and his son. There's just so much going on here that just speaks to a lot of low self-confidence and a lot of just self-aggrandizing pride that just isn't good to have. My daughter is sad because I attended my niece's art showcase instead of her theater showcase. Am I wrong? My daughter, 15 female, had her school's winter showcase last weekend. It wasn't a full play, but a collection of scenes and monologues from different performances that drama students had been working on. My daughter had a good role in one of the featured scenes and was really excited about it. While she never outright asked me to be there, I knew it was important to her. The issue was that my niece, 16 female, had her first big art showcase that same night. My sister's husband passed away when my niece was little, and since then, I've stepped in where I can. My niece is incredibly talented in painting, and this was her first time having her work displayed in a real gallery alongside other student artists. My niece made it clear leading up to the event that she really wanted me there. I had already told her beforehand that I couldn't come because I was going to my daughter's showcase, and while she said she understood, I could tell she was sad. The night before the event, however, she called me and broke down in tears, telling me how much it would mean for her to have me there. She said she felt like this was one of the biggest moments of her life and she wanted me to be proud of her the way a dad would. That completely shattered me. I felt like if I didn't go, I would be letting her down in a way that would stay with her for a long time. So, after the call, I spoke with my daughter and my wife and asked them if I could go to my niece's showcase, and they did give me the go-ahead. However, the day after the event, my daughter was really sad and upset. I did feel guilty, but also I did ask for permission from both her and my wife before I decided to go to my niece's showcase. My wife, however, told me that I should have stuck to my original plan regardless, and that our daughter has even cried a few times since her showcase. Am I wrong? So while I was trying to figure out like a mental itch that was being scratched in my head that I couldn't quite put my finger on, Lil Ladybug2 in the comments actually explains it almost perfectly. He's chasing the ego boost. No one makes you feel like a hero for doing what you're supposed to do for your kids and spouse, because that's your obligation. But when he shows up and plays hero to his niece without a dad, everyone talks about how great he is for doing that. So he'd rather have his ass kissed than meet his actual obligations. And with that said, I'm also willing to bet quarters of cauldrons that this isn't the first time that the father has prioritized his niece over his daughter. It's also incredibly fucking unfair to go, oh, but your niece is gonna be so sad if I can't go. She doesn't have a dad. Oh, can I please go and see your art show? It'd mean the world to her. Like, are you gonna, like, you can't say no to that or you're gonna sound like an asshole, but truth being, the inverse probably applies as well. It'd mean the world to your daughter if you, her father, could be there. But instead, her father picks her second, and that's gotta hurt. And not to mention, imagine finding out your daughter's been crying about this and feeling just absolutely devastated that you chose your niece over your daughter, that you then turn around and go to Reddit to ask strangers if you're in the right or in the wrong. Like, dude, am I the asshole for calling my brother a lazy leech on my parents? My 23 male brother lives at home with my parents. He'll only cook for himself and other than that, maybe going to the gym. He'll spend his free time generally just wasting himself on video games, browsing through his phone, watching movies, etc. He has no job and no career ambitions and spends upward of $20K to $30K on trips, online shopping, and clothing a year. The only reason my parents allow this is because he got lucky. In high school and college, my brother was such an overachiever and the star of the family. He was so passionate and bright and had all these career objectives and ambitions. However, in college, he'd spend a lot of time on little side projects on top of his classes and internships and everything. And 2 of them happened to blow up and turn into small businesses that almost completely are passive and require like 5 hours per week to maintain. Because of the money he was making from this and the reliability of how stable it is, he grinded getting his college degree and then just gave up and stayed home. He was discussing this online with one of his close friends when I happened to overhear when I was visiting my parents. He basically makes around $400K per year pre-tax, and after taxes and all that and spending his $20 to $30K, saves up around $260K in his bank account. His grand plan is to save up for around 10 years and then officially retire and do absolutely nothing for the rest of his life except maybe travel. That night I confronted him and told him that it was horrible to see him waste himself away like this. I understand that technically he can support himself, but money isn't everything and he's literally burning his life away. He's basically set himself up to do nothing but work out, travel, rock climbing, and stuff with no real work, and it's sad to see coming from his brother. He's also leeching off my parents by showing them it's okay to live a life like this. After I told him all this, he literally started laughing at me and said that he's not hurting anyone and just wants to live his life like this with no stress. The next day, my parents basically told me not to feed him bad ideas. Either they overheard or he told them something. Honestly though, I don't think I'm wrong at all for this. I just want my old brother back, not this literal couch potato that has no ambitions except for do nothing for the rest of my life. So am I the asshole? Too long didn't read, my 23 male brother lives at home with my parents and wastes all his time. He used to have all these ambitions and was top of his class in high school and was such a brilliant person in college with all these career goals, and now it's a shame that he's not using anything. I think he's being an idiot and wanted to see who's in the right. Sounds like you're fucking jealous, dude. Like your brother got himself set up for life and has reliable passive income that he's able to work with, and he does do work. He got himself set up pretty comfortably. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if he's not being a strain to his parents and, your parents are totally fine with having him around, who knows, maybe he helps the bills from time to time, I don't think it's any of your business. Hell, I almost guarantee he's doing stuff to help your parents out, especially if they're telling you don't fill his head with bad ideas. There might be some kind of back-end deal that you don't know about that he's willing to help your parents out with more things than you realize. And overall, it just sounds like you're just genuinely jealous that your brother managed to find himself in this position in life. I mean, yeah, who wouldn't be? Sounds like he's quite literally living the dream. Also, how is he a couch potato if he goes rock climbing to the gym? Also, you can't say that he has no job when he's literally making $400,000 a year. Like, that's crazy. I think OP's gotta realize that the point of life is not to toil away at work and work yourself to the bone to the point where you can retire with a broken body and broken mind. Also, you don't know if your brother's just saving up to buy his house outright in cash. Like, you're calling your brother a lazy couch potato leech when really he's actually done really well for himself. Am I the asshole for asking my daughter if her boyfriend actually loves her? I, 34 female, have a daughter, 17 female, is a bigger girl and has struggled with relationships because of it. She recently started talking about this guy that asked her out, and they started dating 3 months ago. I'm happy for her, but I worry that this is another soon-to-be failed relationship. He is pretty muscular, and I just don't see why he would be into her, since guys that work out like that usually choose slim or fitter girls. She was talking about their upcoming date, and my anxiety took over. I asked her if she was sure he actually loved her because they're completely different people. Not to mention, realistically, she's not going to be attractive to most men, so I'm wary about this guy. She asked me what I meant, and I tried to explain how all her relationships had ended and how he doesn't look like the kind of guy who would be into her. She got mad at me and started yelling about how I was telling her she's not good enough for him, and I tried to explain I didn't mean that, but she ignored me. Now she won't talk to me and I'm still worried, but also feeling bad for what happened. Am I the asshole? Honestly, the alternate title could have just been My Fat Cow of a Daughter Doesn't Deserve Love. How do I break her heart? Also, she's 17. It doesn't matter if she's traditionally attractive or if she's heavier set. She's 17. Relationships are probably gonna end up ending anyways. The whole high school sweetheart mantra is incredibly rare. If she's happy and has like a guy that actually loves her for her, then like, so be it. Just let her be happy. Like, assuming that this post isn't just fake rage bait, the amount of contempt that you feel for your daughter is just like grossly evident. Are you jealous that she was able to get a nice looking guy at her age and you weren't? Also, I censored your daughter's name because for some fucking reason you put your daughter's name in the post, and it's a relatively unique name, by the way. Never heard it before, but there you are, blasting it out publicly. Why are you doing that? Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.